Hi, this is Zap, and welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast.
I just need a reset. No, it's not enough to press pause. I think I need a reset. I need a reset. Reset.
Welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast. I am your host, Zap, and with me is my co-host.
Hey, everybody. What's up? It's your boy, TJ.
And I have a confession to make.
What?
I have to make a confession.
Confession?
Right? Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah, well, first of all, can we press play?
That was an interesting transition. Yeah?
Yeah. Well, I just want to ease in because this is serious.
Okay.
For the first time.
Oh, you want to be serious? Okay.
I have to...
Let me get serious. Okay.
I have to make a confession. Don't get offended, babe. Don't. So I have a crush.
What?
Yeah.
On who?
Well, you know what? That's actually what we're going to be talking about in this segment. We're going to be talking about our video game crushes.
Oh, okay.
What's that term? What's the I know it in Spanish, but I don't know it in English. It's
amor
platónico. I know I'm going Spanish on y'all, but it's like it's like your I don't know the term.
Buddy?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Okay. Yeah, my video game booze of all time. Now, if you remember, we actually have brought up this topic in one of our past episodes.
Yes, we did.
And we did mention that we wanted to make it its own thing.
Oh, well, here we are.
And here we are.
And this is a thing that's about to happen.
This is a thing that's about to happen.
I can say that much.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go back and forth. I think that seems to work for us.
Okay.
You throw one, I throw one until eventually we get tired about talking about video game boosts. Ain't that going to be interesting?
All right.
Is there ever going to be an end to this? I don't know, but we're about to find out today. So who wants to start?
I guess I can start.
Okay. Are we going to start in a certain order from least favorite to most? That's not even a thing, or not really. We're just gonna do
just any order. I think any order is fine.
All right.
It's gonna be hard for me.
Okay.
All right, because I got quite a few.
Oh my God. Jesus.
I'm gonna start with one that pretty much everyone had.
Okay.
This is a video game crush I think that everybody's had at some point.
Okay.
And so I just want to go ahead and get this one out the way.
All right.
But Lara Croft.
Okay, so that one I got to pitch in because that's actually was gonna be one of my mentions. I had a huge crush on. I still do till this day.
Lara Croft, she's a beautiful girl.
She's badass.
She's bad. She's smart. She's
stubborn.
An archaeologist. She's strong and fast.
Yeah.
Knows how to use a gun.
Yeah.
She stabs people. Shoots them with arrows and stuff.
Yeah. Knows how to climb. She's freaking invincible, apparently.
No wonder she got a body the way she do.
Yeah.
Because she knows how to exercise and keep herself healthy. Okay.
Always be in danger.
Yeah.
She ain't need nobody to save her. Exactly. She can save herself.
Save myself. You know what I'm saying? And I think at some point everybody had a crush on Lara Croft.
Yeah.
She was like she was everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that'll be that's my first pick for today.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna start with one that's it's pretty predictable because I actually already brought it up in the past episode. So I'm just gonna bring it up right now because I need a fangirl for a minute. Okay, just let me fangirl for a minute.
Do your thing.
So yeah. So my favorite video game crush of all time is Connor.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought.
My baby Connor from I was gonna say Resident Evil, Assassin's Creed 3. God. This is so nervous it got me talking about this. Assassin's Creed 3. Look, the first time I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna make a real confession here. The only reason why I completed this game and played every single side quest is because I was crushing hard on Connor. Okay, I just did not want to give up I didn't want to give up on the idea that I was done. Okay, so I was determined to enjoy as much of my time with Connor. So if that was going to push me to do every single side quest and every single mission, I was going to do what it takes to be with Connor. Okay? I was determined. That's how determined I was. So Connor, I know you're fiction, but Bobby, I'll ride and die for you.
Jesus Christ.
I was gonna. Now I'm just spilling the beans. I'm just spilling tea right now, y'all. But you know those loading times when you just have to wait and you just kind of free roam
around the
all I did was just fix the camera angle so I can look at Connor.
That's a handsome fellow. I give you that.
Yeah. So yeah, and Slash, surprisingly, I kind of like man, I owe you the name. I owe you that one. I do owe you, but it's in one of the missions that Connor has to eliminate certain targets. There's the I wish I could. Now I gotta Google it because it's the guy that he has this suit, the blue suit. I think he's like the last target that you have to eliminate.
Connor's dad, right?
Connor's dad, yes.
What is his name?
I might need to Google it, but
actually, it's Connor. I know it is though. It's Connor's dad.
It's Connor's dad, and well, Connor gotta eliminate this target as his final target, and he was a handsome fella too.
He is Connor's dad.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Connor
God dang! I look at Connor, and then Connor's dad. I was like, this is too hard. Yeah. When you got to choose.
Connor had to get it from somewhere.
Yeah.
So
that is chef kiss. Anyways,
and his mom is actually she's a cutie too.
Yeah.
Connor's mom
Connor just had really good-looking parents. When you got good-looking parents,
that's how. Yeah. Because she was Indian, dang. So like, because he was Indian, he was white and she was Indian, so it was like mixed.
She was badass too. But yeah, moving on. Yeah.
Okay. This is one that I may have mentioned to you before.
Okay.
But I think some people might give me grief for it, but I don't care.
Okay.
Because I love her.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You love her. Okay.
I love her.
All right.
It's Bayonetta.
Okay.
She is a woman who is comfortable in her own sexuality.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree.
Like she is a sexy character for sexy character's sake. And she don't care. Like
okay.
she you can tell when she does what she do it on purpose. It ain't no accidental sexy there. She just look at flipping her hair and she just basically gets butt naked when she does her supers and stuff. Like she's just like, I'm just gonna be sexy. I'm gonna make sexy poses. I'm gonna throw my legs up and do it. That's just what she is. Like that's whoever designed that character knew what they was doing. Like she's like 6 foot tall. Like she's like this giant Amazon with
She is really tall now thinking about it.
No, like
right?
seriously, she's like 6 foot tall. Like she's like over 6
And then she
foot
has
tall.
these huge
heels
that make her even more taller.
Yeah, which are also guns.
That's kind of scary thinking about it because
she can shoot with her feet.
She's a giant.
Yeah, she's canonically like over 6 feet tall. Like she's one of the tallest video game characters ever.
Yeah, so she's definitely not your average girl.
And she has these long legs. It's just like, what they knew it. Like I said, whoever designed this character knew what they was doing. They was trying to reach a certain audience, and they was unashamed of it. And because of it, she's just like, I am who I am. If you don't like it, don't buy the game.
I haven't really dived into Bayonetta. Maybe because that's what was throwing me off. But then with the recent game that I played the demo and that got me to open up a little bit to Bayonetta.
Cereza
when you get to what's the name of that?
Cereza and the Demon, something Demon.
You know what I'm talking about. The recent game that
it's called Cereza because Cereza is her real name.
That it gives more of her story.
Backstory,
her backstory. So
prologue to her actual story.
Yeah, so when I got to play a little bit of the demo, it kind of made me open up a little bit more to her. I was like, oh, okay, so she wasn't always like this, and yeah, so I'm kind of curious. I don't know if I'm ever gonna dive into a game. I don't know. It might take me longer to kind of warm up to her. But yeah, I do respect your point of view.
Yeah, I think she's just a dope design character. Like I feel like sometimes, like in the modern age of gaming, it's always been like, all right, don't sexualize women. We over sexualize women. But I think there's I think doing that kind of takes away from what women are. Women are sexual beings. Like there's nothing wrong with a woman being sexy. And I think sometimes we go overboard in both directions.
Yeah.
Sometimes they go over the top with the sexy. It's like it's too much. And then sometimes they just try everything in their power to make a character not sexy. And I think that's not fair because women are beautiful. So it's like, why do women have to like hide what they are, hide their bodies, or be ashamed of their curves or whatever? So I feel like Bayonetta is like kind of that, like, hey, you can't body, you ain't shaming me up in here. You ain't gonna make me feel bad for being this beautiful woman. Like you're not gonna make me ashamed of who I am.
Yeah, she's very confident who she
it's like
is.
I don't care what you say. This is who I am. This is how I dress. This is what I wear. If you got a problem with it, I'm gonna shoot you because I got guns on my feet.
Yeah.
So I can do that.
Wow. That went quickly down south.
Yeah, it did.
I wonder if Bayonetta would ever get married.
I don't know, but I'd marry her. I'd do it.
You marry her.
I would.
All right, so my next selection, this just revealed a weakness I have and made me reflect of my relationships in life. I was like, God dang, I got a problem because even knowing how he is, and I got a mixture of both, female and male, so I'm really comfortable. So I ain't got no problem crushing on girls too. But this guy is from Resident Evil Village, and his name is Heisenberg. And I love Heisenberg. First of all, his design is freaking amazing.
Okay.
Like, he has this robust, like, roughness to him, you know? And also, like, every time he smiles, I just melt. I'm like, like, it's almost like a spell, you know? He's like, he has this, and that's why I say it's my weakness. He has a very bad temper. He gets angry easily, but I can't get angry because then when he smiles, I'm like, oh yeah, I could deal with those. I could deal with those problems. Yeah, that's okay.
Jesus.
You know.
Jesus Christ.
And then what I love about Heisenberg, like jokes aside, if you study his like his background story without spoiling too much, because I know you haven't played Resident Evil Village, so like he ends up in this community, but he's not really morphed. He's not a creation of something. He's a normal human being.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a normal human being that just came to this village. He has a long family history of his family living at this place. But, you know, something did happen, and unfortunately, he was just kind of forced and dragged into it, and he doesn't really want to be a part of it. So during his entire story, he is actually determined about fighting for freedom and gaining his freedom back to get out of whatever scenario he's in. And that made me like respect him because he is super intelligent. He has these magnetic, you would say magnetic, but it's magnetic powers where he controls metal.
Okay.
And
Magneto type stuff. Okay.
Yes. So he can actually like control, and he has like a factory where he builds an army of robots that he's gonna use towards gaining his freedom.
Okay.
So I really liked his background story because even though he's a hot-tempered fella, like, you know what are the reasons behind it and why he's so determined and persistent with moving on with his plans. So that, you know, I kind of gained my respects because he still might be doing it under the wrong reasons. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, he is still considered a villain. But you understand where he's coming from. So he has a good heart. In a way, he really does have a good heart. So the story, the design, smile. and everything else is just what keeps me, falling in love with high school.
Okay. Respect. But talking about Resident Evil characters, you haven't mentioned the sexiest Resident Evil character ever.
Oh, you have a crush on? Okay, I'm gonna go back to
not even somebody I have a crush on, but just somebody I respect.
Okay.
Like, this dude he's that guy. He's that guy. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay.
It's Mr. Leon. This is not my pick, though. Since we was talking about Resident Evil.
Okay.
Leon Kennedy.
It's okay if you have a crush on him.
Leon Kennedy is a sexy man. I don't give a fuck. Right? He really is. Like, he's just like, he be throwing knives at people. Just like, I don't know. Just Leon is that dude. Like, tell me to, come on now. Come on. It's Leon Kennedy.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It's Leon.
He's dope.
It's Leon.
He's dope.
Is that your pick or you go with
Nah, that ain't my pick.
Okay, all right. What's your pick then?
But I just wanted to give him a shout out.
Yeah, honorable mention. To
To
Leon Kennedy.
Leon Kennedy, sexy man.
Let's go, Leon.
All right.
Team Leon over here.
All day. I'm actually I'm gonna go left, and I'm gonna pick somebody that I don't think I've ever mentioned this to you before.
Okay.
But you have played the game that this character is in. Final Fantasy X. Yuna.
Oh well, yeah, you have. Yeah, okay, all right. Okay.
I absolutely love Yuna.
I can tell. You always gushing over her.
Yeah. Cause you know what's funny though, in a lot of ways, because now this I have said before.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, she reminds me of you.
Okay.
Because there's kind of like two sides to her. Mm-hmm. Like there's in Final Fantasy X, she's the more quiet, reserved, strong-willed, determined, like just real like quiet, but to herself, really like ladylike and just like doing her thing. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna go too far because you haven't played X2 yet.
No,
but
I have not.
In X2, she kind of goes through a change, and she becomes a badass. Like she goes hardcore and becomes a badass and kind of changes up and switches up the game on you. And you're like, oh, that like what happened to you? You doing okay? And yeah, in X2, yes sir, she gets bad in X2.
Okay.
So it's like it's cool seeing both sides of her, but it's still like true to her character. And I love that she isn't like overly sexualized at all either.
Gotcha.
Because like she's not even like the quote unquote sexy character in that game.
No.
The sexy character would be Lulu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's
just by looking at her.
Yeah,
her
she got the dress.
and
The boobs all up and stuff. Like she's the quote unquote sexy character of the game. But Yuna's more like she's such a lady and so like reserved and just like doing her thing and just like so determined to accomplish her goals, and it's just she's so cute. She's just really, really cute. I love to see her character arc throughout the story. Yeah. So I'm
All right.
Yuna.
Well, going back to Resident Evil Village.
What is up with you in Resident Evil Village?
I love Village.
I see.
Yeah. There's another crush. I have another crush. While some people will be gushing and crushing over Dimitrescu, I have a different pick. I don't really find Dimitrescu interesting.
I think I know where it's going.
My crush on video game boo is Donna Beneviento. Now Donna, baby girl, goddamn, she's fine. Because the thing is, this is what I think, right? First of all, I love her location. I would live there with her. The house is close to a waterfall.
Okay, all right, you're winning me over.
It's a cabin. She loves nature.
Okay.
She studies plants. That was her profession.
Okay.
She has a lot of trauma. This background story. She was an orphan. Her parents died, and I'm not going to go too much into details, but
Kinda feeling her. I don't know. I might look at some pictures of her. She
her story is a little where she goes a little cuckoo. Let's just say that's the only thing about
crazy
it.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Oh.
I'm
getting more and more intrigued here.
She is called a doll maker because she created a bunch of dolls, which literally gave the dolls almost like possession of having a life of its own. So she could have companions who she could talk to and, kind of process what she was going through. So let's just say she did a little druggy too. She's a mess, but Donna's still fine. Okay. So anyways, going back to my story. So she has this cabin, and I love her cabin. It's very Spanish style, to it. Because her last name is Beneviento, so she does come from like a Hispanic family.
Okay.
So when you look at, she has a portrait, right? When you walk in the cabin and you see this portrait, it's the only picture you get to see of her where it's her true self before she, I don't want to spoil it for you, but before she went through something that disfigured her face.
Gotcha.
And when you look at this picture, she is beautiful.
Oh, that's sad.
Like, she is, even after, the incident where you, unfortunately, that's very hard to talk about. Something happens, and even after that happens, you see her with her face disfigured, you can still tell that she was very, very beautiful. So to be a villain, which it's kind of hard because when you listen to the stories of these people, you start questioning yourself if they're really villains.
Yeah. That happens a lot in Resident Evil, actually.
Mm-hmm. You really start questioning yourself, like, I don't think she even wanted to be a villain. Because when you study the background story, it doesn't sound at all like I guess she was just a victim of misfortune, Okay. So I just love her. And my only pet peeve about Resident Evil Village, which I feel like Capcom did listen to it, and so for the DLC they kind of did justice, is that when it comes to her part, I felt like her part was a little too short. Like, I felt like I needed more time to be able to get to see her and I don't know, to just like spend a little bit more time with the villain, So of course in the DLC, Capcom kind of made up for it, but like you don't really get to fully enjoy her, if that even makes sense,
okay.
So besides Heisenberg and his smile, he's my fine ass Donna Beneviento.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just marry them both. That way I don't have to choose. Anyways, going back to you.
All right. This one is. I'm just gonna. All right, like all the other ones I've named, there's like, they're also beautiful characters, but there's also like a reason why I like them because of their character and their story and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. This next one, I like her just because she's just fine. Okay. Right? She's just fine, and I don't care what nobody says. She's fine. Okay. So this one ain't got nothing to do with her character. She's just fine.
Okay.
This is a Soul Calibur character.
Oh.
I love you, Avi.
Okay. Wow.
She bad.
Okay.
She bad. Like I'm like I said, it ain't got nothing to do with her character or nothing. She just bad.
Okay.
She got that sword whip. She just be beat you up. She got on the spandex with the boobies out. Like she just. Avi's just bad.
Okay.
She's just bad.
Okay. Okay. That's it.
That's it. She's just bad. She just look good.
All right. So this one might surprise a couple of y'all because I have never really talked about him.
Okay.
So this is a guy.
All right.
This guy.
Okay.
Then I might just back to a girl. That's how I am. This is my second, and then I'm gonna leave my last pick for after your pick. I'm narrowing it down now.
All right.
So second on my list, which I don't even know if we had a number, is from The Evil Within.
Okay.
And it's Sebastian Castellanos. Now, one thing I love about Sebastian is that he's a man of family. That man, what a man. That man is fighting for his wife. That man is fighting for his kid. And he's going to do whatever it takes to get this crap right.
Okay.
That's what I love about The Evil Within 2. I actually shed a tear towards the ending, which I'm not going to spoil if you haven't played it, but it's a very emotional trip. Like I actually ended up crying because the ending is it hits home, honestly. But I just love how Sebastian doesn't give a F about nothing. Like, he's in this nightmarish universe that a lot of crazy things are happening that for any average person you'd be like, I'm done, I'm out, forget about it, I don't want to deal with this. But he's the opposite. He's like, I don't give a what's going on. I want my wife and my kid back. Yeah, it's scary and it's crazy, but I'm not gonna stop. And that's what I love about him. I think that's what actually makes me like gravitate towards him. Like his there's a word for it. I can't really pinpoint what it is.
Charisma?
His not really charisma. He's courageous.
Okay.
I guess that's not really the word I want to use, but he's very courageous, very brave. He may not be, like, from all the characters I've mentioned, like, physically I wouldn't say like he's the most attractive. Like, it wouldn't be my go-to. But there's just like something about him that he's just so honest and open.
Okay.
And that the reason why he's so honest and open, I think it makes me like care for him. It's that kind of feeling. Like I just care for him. Like I want to take care of him. Does that sound weird?
A little bit, but I mean, this whole conversation is weird. So.
I don't know where I wanted to go with it, but that's all I feel like when it comes to Sebastian.
So I guess we're doing final picks now, huh?
Final picks.
All right. Don't y'all make fun of me for this one.
Oh, God.
I don't care. I understand. I get it. It's not about her appearance, even though she is cute. But it's more about her character, and I feel bad for her in a lot of ways because of the story behind it.
Okay.
But it's you may not know this one, but this is from Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
It's one of the champions. It's not the one champion you think I would say, because there's one that I always talk about, but that ain't the one. That ain't the one. Normally I would say Urbosa, the badass Gerudo girl who is.
Mm-hmm.
I do love her. She is one, but she's special, so she's not gonna be in this list.
Okay.
Because that's wifey. All right.
But okay.
But
I didn't know we had a separate category for that.
Wifey. These are booze and wifey. She's like a caliber above a woman.
Okay. All right.
But it would actually be Mipha from Breath of the Wild. And yes, I know the first thing people are gonna say is she's a fish person. Yes, I know this.
But it's 2023.
She is a fish person. First of all, she is still cute. I don't care.
We have the right.
She's still cute
to choose.
And she's so sweet. Like, she's the healer, basically, of the group, basically. She's like the white mage, basically.
Oh, God.
And she, like, heals everybody and makes sure everybody's okay. She's always concerned about everybody's health and trying to take care of everybody. And she's just so sweet. And so she's just such a sweet, innocent soul, just trying to do what's right. And I feel bad for her because she has a really, really big... They make it very obvious that she has a really, really big crush on Link. Where even they have their own little cutscene where she's like healing his wounds and trying to let him know that he likes her, that she likes him. But, you know, Link is kind of oblivious to everything. He's just like, oh, heal my arm or whatever. And she obviously has a thing for Link. But it's so sad, but because you know that Link has a thing for Zelda. You know, Link and Zelda have pretty much always been the couple of the game. But, like, she's kind of just on the outside, like, I wish he would treat me the way he treats Zelda type stuff. Like, and it's just so sad. It's like, she likes Link so much, and her and Link would be so good together, but, you know, Link is only going to have eyes for Zelda. Yeah. That's just the way it is. They're the two main characters.
Hard. I don't think I ever have anybody that I can say is hubby materials in a video game. That's... You know, you got me thinking. Well,
if I had to pick wifey, though, if we're gonna go there, wifey is Urbosa.
Okay, I think I know where I'm going.
Wifey is Urbosa. Okay,
you kinda...
she is. First of all, I love her brown skin because you know I love women of color. Okay, I'm sorry.
Here we go.
Can't help myself.
All right.
She's tall, She's strong. She got a 6-pack. She could snap and make lightning come out of the sky. She got a sword and a shield, and she can beat it. She's literally the strongest champion. She's the strongest of all the champions. Like, she could beat all the other champions. Because you're
biased, or is it actual fact?
No, like she's literally she comes from the Gerudo tribe,
gotcha.
Which is a tribe of warrior women.
Okay.
It's only one man is born in their tribe every 1,000 years, who is the main villain, Ganondorf.
Oh.
He's the only male Gerudo to ever exist in the games.
Interesting.
But other than that, they're mostly women.
Yeah, I don't know much about the story, so now that you're explaining, you're like, oh.
Yeah, so it's
that's why he looks so similar to them.
Yeah, because he's the male that was born in.
Male.
And technically, the male is supposed to be the king of all the other women.
Oh.
But they don't even do that. Urbosa is the queen, where she runs the whole society, and it's a society full of women who they're all about women, and then it's
liberal,
yeah,
feminists. I don't know, whatever you want.
Not
to
even
call
feminists. They're just strong women who it's all women,
independent,
and we do our thing.
Strong, independent women.
We are the strongest tribe of all the other tribes. Like, they're the only tribe that is like specifically trained to fight.
Interesting.
Like, all the other tribes, they do fight, but they're not. That's not what they're known for. Like, the Gerudos are known for being warriors. Like, that's their thing. Gotcha. And they live in the desert, so they work on limited resources and and there's just these powerful, strong women who just run.
I can tell she's wifey material because you're just gushing over her.
Yeah, like, she's just and out of all the Gerudos, she's the baddest one. She's the most beautiful. She's the strongest. She has the power of the lightning god, so she can literally snap her fingers and lightning just strikes her enemies. She has the coolest cutscenes where, like, people try to sneak up on her and kill her, and she sees them coming. She snaps her fingers and they just die because she's that powerful. Like, she fights and she's so loving. Like, she's Zelda's mother and her are best friends. So, like, she's like really caring and loving for her daughter, and just What, you jealous now? You mad? You mad? So I got some hate up in here.
All right.
That's my wife.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna talk. Since you're talking about wifey material, I'm gonna talk about my last crush, and then I'm gonna talk about wifey / hubby material. Because I'm not gonna reveal that. Maybe so you can find out.
Okay.
Anyways, my number one video game crush, and it's ironically, it's not because of looks, actually, because the looks is not what did it for me. It's Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay.
The reason why I love Cassandra is because, kind of like you with Bayonetta, she is very self-confident and secure of who she is. Like, her sexuality, she knows who she is, period. She's very comfortable, and she'll make sure she gets her needs met, and I'm just not even going to go there.
Yeah, I think you told me this
anyways, the whole idea where I'm trying to go with it is because in the story, there's certain missions, and you get to decide how you're going to react to it. And there are options that says that you can engage in love relationships with certain people. I did all of them. Just to see. And towards the end, I was like, damn, Cassandra goes down. And when she goes down, she goes down.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, she is ready. She don't give a crap. She is very, very, very confident in herself.
She about her.
And I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. Because I could see myself hanging out with somebody like that, because you ain't got no issues, because that person's just knows. I think that's what attracted me to her. She knows what she wants. She's not hesitating of, I don't know, let's see, I don't know, maybe. No, it is what it is, black and white. I like this, I don't like this, period. So you don't have to really guess around her.
Okay.
So yeah, Cassandra. But then again, it's not really about the looks. Like I said, it's just a trait of her personality. That's really what I enjoyed the most. Now, if we're going to talk about marriage material, which y'all saw me gushing in a live stream once. I have to go back to Resi. I'm gonna go to oh shoot, now I might screw it up. I think it was Resi 3. Might be Resi 3 Nemesis. Yeah, I think it was Resident Evil 3. Is my good old boy Carlos.
Oh, okay.
I would marry Carlos. I would totally marry Carlos because Carlos is strong. Let me tell you something. When it comes to man of color, he has that jawline, that strong jawline, that hair on point, that thickness in his voice, that let me treat you with roughness, but I'm also caring at the same time. Like, yes, treat me bad, but also treat me good at the same time. Carlos, I do. I would marry you.
This is so weird.
Because in an apocalypse, if you know what's about to go down, I could trust Carlos.
I'm going with Leon.
Because Carlos is my protector.
Apocalypse, I'm going with Leon.
Apocalypse, you're gonna go with Leon.
He could hold a rocket launcher over his shoulder and shoot it without falling.
You know, this is bad when in the past 30 minutes, all we've done is talk about video game crushes. But anyways, moving on.
Yeah, this has gone on way too long. All right, let's go.
Let's go to our favorite segment of the podcast. Let's reset. It's reset time. And this topic I'm actually really excited to talk about because it might, even though it's a little bit shorter, I feel like it's very important to discuss this because not a lot of people totally understand the differences among these two terms. And that is, what is the difference between remake and remastered?
And see, this is the weirdest thing to me because I never understood why people got so confused because it's kind of in the name itself.
Exactly.
Because like when you say remake, that means you're remaking
the game. Exactly.
That means you're using a different engine maybe or different graphical style or up, saying like you're rebuilding. You're not taking previous assets and cleaning them up.
Well, before you go to that, before we go into that, let's first of all define what is the term remastered for those who don't really know, and what is the term remake. Do you want me to go ahead and define them and then you can offer examples of what we're talking about?
Do your thing.
Okay, so remastered is them taking the game and they're redoing it, but redoing it in the sense that they're just updating the graphics, and then they're also remastering the audio portion. But everything else stays the same. So story will stay the same, dialogues will stay the same, character design will stay the same. Everything you can think of and about the game will stay the same. It's just that they're going to update those things. So, and now in the current age and current era, it can perform better for the consoles that we now have. A perfect example of a remastered version of a game, and I'll let you show your example in a minute, but for me, because I'm a Capcom creator, a remastered version would be Resident Evil 1. So Resident Evil 1 is a remastered example where they updated the audio, they updated the graphics, but nothing has been changed. They even give you the option to play it in the traditional controls that were played during that time. So, which I still don't enjoy till this day, but that's a whole different story. Resident Evil 1 is an example of a remastered game. What about?
Well, actually, it's funny because just recently got a remaster.
Okay.
And that's Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime Remaster. It's literally the same exact game. It just looks better, sounds better, and they did some like life-changing, like hey, we're gonna change some of the controls a little bit. Not the way you control the game, but just like the button layout is different.
So the mapping.
Yeah, the mapping is different, so it's a lot easier to work with. But other than that, the story's the same, the character's the same, the progress is the same. It's literally the same exact game. It just looks better, sounds better, plays better.
So has your experience been improved because of the remastered?
Yes, I think so. Like it's definitely a much more enjoyable version of the game. Like if I had to choose between the two versions of the game, I would go with the remaster.
Gotcha.
Which isn't always the case with every game. Sometimes the remaster isn't great. Because apparently, from what we've been told, that Tales of Symphonia remaster that we played during the RPG video.
Don't go there.
Which you should go check out that video if you want to see it. But I heard that the remastered is actually a worse edition of the game to play. So the version that we played was a really bad version of the game, according to a lot of people. And that the original is actually much better. So
yeah, and that can be a hit or miss too, because it also depends what engine they're working it on, also what console they're dropping it on. There's a lot of factors that come into play when doing these remastered versions, or ports, like people like to say. Remake, however, is like you explained. It's defined in the very same word. It's remaking the game. So, in remaking the game, it's not only about remastering audio and updating the graphics. It's about maybe changing the art direction in the game, redesigning characters, redesigning assets that were utilized in the past that are now going to be different in the game. Redesigning textures, lighting, dialogue, even remaking the story. So rewriting the story, maybe expanding in the story, maybe taking away. It could also be the opposite sometimes. Maybe like removing certain cutscenes or certain, enemies or stuff. It's just pretty much reinventing the wheel. Okay. A perfect example of a remake is Resident Evil 4. So Resident Evil 4 is a perfect example of what is a remake. If you go and play the original Resident Evil 4 and then you compare it to the Resident Evil 4 remake, even though it kind of seems familiar and it feels like it's the same game, it's totally two different experiences.
For sure.
And the reason why the term even remake exists is because maybe sometimes there's a game like Resident Evil 4 is an example, where there was so many limitations back in the day, because of what console it was being developed on, the engine, maybe, time crunching, there's a lot of factors, that could come into play when designing a game. So as simple as that may seem, sometimes developers are not totally satisfied. And we're maybe wanting the opportunity and the space to be able to, expand on the game and be able to showcase to the world what really their true intentions were for the game. And I've heard interviews about this, that the developers were talking about how originally the idea for Resident Evil 4 remake was they wanted it to be a lot more survival horror related, and they compared it to Resident Evil Village. Like they really wanted to go with this Resident Evil Village direction for Resident Evil 4, and they even said about cutscenes that they had cut out where there was a scene of dolls. Of possessed dolls that they wanted to bring into the game and recreate it, and they had to take it out during that time, but then eventually they added it to Resident Evil Village. And then they were talking about how they wanted to bring that idea back to Resident Evil 4 remake. Yeah. So that's an example of a remake. So I always kind of hate the fact of, and this is a pet peeve of mine, that when I hear people complain about a remake because it's not the same game, it's it plays differently, it's just they changed so many things, and of course
It's a remake.
it's a remake.
It's not this supposed to be the same game.
It's not. Yeah, it's not supposed to be the same game. But I think a lot of people really don't understand the difference between a remastered and a remake.
They don't.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we're here. And as far as a remake, my example would be, which is actually I think a game you've played a little bit of and I really enjoy, is Trials of Mana.
Okay.
That is a remake of. I'm not even gonna try to say the original Japanese name.
Okay.
But that game is a remake of the original, because the original game was an SNES game that was a 2D sprite-based game. So it was 2D sprite-based. It was running on the SNES, and there was no voice acting and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So I would say Trials of Mana is definitely qualifies as a remake, because now the game is fully 3D. There's voice acting. They even added mechanics to the game, because when your characters can evolve and grow into different classes and stuff, there's a dark version and a light version. That was not in the original game.
Oh.
So that is a whole new mechanic just for this version of the game. So they completely changed the graphic style. They changed the gameplay. They changed the combat system. Everything was completely different. So I would say that one qualifies as a remake.
What about Final Fantasy X, the one we own now? Will you consider that to be a remaster or a remake? Because I personally don't know much about it.
That would be a remaster.
That would be a remaster.
Because that game is pretty much the exact same. It is the exact same.
Okay.
They literally didn't change anything.
Gotcha.
They just up-resed it, from what I could tell.
Gotcha.
It's literally, they probably just took the same game and just up-resed it.
Yeah.
Because nothing else changes.
Yeah. So, if you're a purist and you want to stick to an original game, I would say either play the remastered or just play the original game. But if you're trying to play a remake, but wishing that they didn't change anything, then that's not going to be the experience. Right now, a recent game that I just watched trailers for it, and it definitely sounds like it might be a remastered and not a remake, would be Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a remaster.
That definitely looks like a remastered. I would still need a little bit more details, but it definitely seems like it's just a remastered version of Super Mario RPG, which looks phenomenal, by the way.
Which is fine. And I think in some cases that's the best way to go. Some people don't like remasters, some people don't like remakes, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's a case for both. I feel like in some situations, some games don't need to be remade.
No.
Some games don't need to. In some cases, some games need to be remade. Even though I love Resident Evil 4, I think a remake was the best way to go.
Oh, yeah.
If they would have did a remastered of it, I think a lot of people would have been upset and unhappy with that.
A lot of stuff were outdated, too.
Yeah, so it's I think a remake was the best way to go.
Yeah.
For the one game that I do want to come back, I would probably, this one's hard. But I would love to see Chrono Trigger come back, but a part of me doesn't want it to be a remake. Because I'm afraid they might change too much and ruin the original game. But remastering it is going to be tricky too.
Yeah.
Because it's it was an SNES game. Are we really going to do pixel art again? Are we really going to are we going to do that? Are we going to cell shade it? I don't know. I feel like that's a game that might have to take the Octopath Traveler route.
Yeah.
Where they do a 2D HD kind of thing.
Okay.
I think that could work for something like that, but that would technically be a remaster. Yeah, okay, so that's a good topic. Right?
Yeah.
So if they completely changed the art, because like I said, the original one was still pixel based.
Yeah.
But it wasn't 2D HD.
So that would be considered a remake.
That would be
because you're having to remake something. If you're just upscaling it, that's a remaster.
So if they did it in 2D HD, it would be a remake.
Yeah, if you're just taking a complete different art direction approach, then that's technically considered a remake.
Okay. That's
yeah.
fair enough. So
Any change you have to make totally to a game, you have to build it from scratch. As simple as changing engines too.
Yeah.
Because Resident Evil 4 is now done with the RE engine.
Yeah.
That's a different engine,
True.
So you have to, it involves a lot of stuff. Otherwise, then the only thing you really want is just a port. You just want them to port the game without making any changes.
Gotcha. So I guess I want a remake then. because I do want them to do something with it, like change the graphic style somehow.
Yeah.
Because like if you drop it just like the original, then it's like I can just play the original.
Exactly.
So it's like, because like it's not like Chrono Trigger is like a hard game to find or rent or emulate or whatever the case may be. So I guess I would want a remake. It's just a part of me doesn't want them to touch the story. It's my thing.
Yeah.
Like you can change the engine, change the graphics, change the game, but just don't change the story.
Well, and that's the cool thing about remake, that just because they're going to remake the game doesn't mean they're going to build it from the foundation up. It just depends, like, what are some of the improvements they want to make. So there could be very like mild changes, and then there can be those extreme redo makeovers for a video game. So it just kind of depends what title it is, really.
Yeah.
And to be fair, this is something I want to bring up. People would be like, why they remake a game? Why did they have to remake the game? Why did they have to remaster the game? The only reason why they remaster and remake a game is the same way how Disney reintroduces the same old movies over and over again in a different format.
Oh, so like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
So like when they brought back The Lion King in live action, that would be a remake.
That would be a remake. And the only reason why is because you gotta remember, while we remember these games, there's a whole new generation that didn't grow up with these games, that Capcom might be new to them. I know it sounds crazy, because we grew up in the 90s and that's all we knew, but this newer generation don't know about these titles. So from time to time, they have to find a way of reintroducing newer generations to their franchises. So what better way to reintroduce somebody to the Resident Evil franchise than introducing them to the remakes and to the remastered versions, so people can go back now and play these old titles, but now in the modern era. Yeah, it's the same thing what Disney does. From time to time, they repurpose, recycle their movies. They change the format. They come up with a series. They put it on Disney Plus, whatever it is, you know, whatever way they decide to come up. Star Wars does it all the time. They come up with new series, The Mandalorian, you name it, a bunch of other series, to reintroduce over and over and over again people to their babies, to their projects. You did it recently. The Greatest Hits is a perfect example of a remastered.
I would say, yeah, that would be remastered.
Remastered, yeah, where you just, you know, updated all your stuff to reintroduce people to your old body of work that they just didn't have the opportunity of listening to, because maybe they just joined you the other day. Maybe they just subscribed to your channel 2 days ago. They don't know about it, you know. So what better way to reintroduce them than through your greatest hits? So while not everybody may agree of there being a need of having a remake and remaster, it's still a need for the company, you know, business-wise, because that's how they're going to get you in to their, you know, ecosystem to be able to sell you then the rest of the other games that they want to present you later on, you know, down the road.
Yeah. And me personally, I'm actually totally for remasters and remakes. Because and not even for the company's sake, more so for the preservation of video game history.
True.
Like some of these games would be lost to time if they didn't get remade or remastered.
I completely agree.
Like, I love Super Mario RPG, but I like how many people can really own a SNES original console and have the game and play it? Like, that game could be lost forever. Like one day, the SNESs are not going to work anymore. Like there's going to be a time they're not making new ones. So it's like, how do you preserve a game like that? And a remaster is a perfect way to do that. So now that game can still live on. So it's like, I believe in it just for, like I said, the preservation of video game history, which I think is very important. Because that's why I absolutely love what Nintendo's been doing with their Nintendo Switch Online stuff, because now they have a category of NES titles and Super NES and Game Boy and if Game Boy Advance, and I'm hoping one day the GameCube. Just give me GameCube games.
Yeah. God.
It's their history, and I think that's why Nintendo kind of gets a leg up on its competitors sometimes, because they understand the power of nostalgia.
Oh yeah.
They understand the power of history.
Marketing nostalgia.
They know what they're doing. So they really like lean in heavy on that. Like they'll be like, all right, here's the SNES Mini or the NES Mini, and here's some old characters, here's some new games for old characters. We're gonna bring them back, and like I said, they're doing the Super Mario RPG remaster. And
oh my god,
they knew that when they dropped that, it was going to blow. They knew that everybody's gonna be out and ready to buy this game. Mm-hmm. So like they understand the power of nostalgia, the power of history, and their history. Because think about it, most of Nintendo franchises are old.
Yes.
Like Mario,
yeah,
Zelda, Metroid, Castlevania, like all these old, like these are all Mario's been making games for how long now? Since the NES, and he's still making games on the Switch now. Like they know that it works.
Yeah.
When the next Mario game comes out, Odyssey 2 or whatever it is, I'm gonna get that.
Make it happen.
Odyssey 2.
They're the masters of owning their brand.
Yeah, they know what it is.
Yeah.
How many Zelda games are there right now? I don't even know. Okay. Yeah. There's Zelda games out there that I still haven't had a chance to play yet. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's like it's just so they know, and they know when they dropped 2 Zelda games for the Switch. Mm-hmm. 2 of them. Yeah. And then they brought back all the old ones. Like I love, and like Pikmin is a good example of this too.
Yes.
Because now you can play every single Pikmin game on the Switch. You can play Pikmin 1, 2, 3, and the new one 4, all on the Switch now. They're all available there now. So now that franchise can live on. Yeah. Because like who could go back and play, especially how expensive GameCube stuff is now?
It's and it's not even accessible anymore. You know, because you have to have the space for it too.
You gotta get a GameCube. You gotta buy the games, which are not cheap.
Yeah.
The GameCube that's like, because that is like, if I'm not the collector in the family, that's my baby over here. Mm-hmm. But the only system I've ever wanted to own and like collect for was the GameCube.
And I told you, I was like, I don't think you want to jump into it.
And I already knew, because it was the one Nintendo system that I never owned. Yeah. And I've always wanted to have one. But when I started looking up the prices of the games, the GameCube itself is actually not that bad. But getting the games, all the games that I would actually want for it, were ridiculously expensive. Yeah. So like some of those games, like one game that I'm always going to be sad is lost to time is Soul Calibur 2. Yeah. Because they had my boy in it. Mm-hmm. Had my boy Link in a fighting game. I loved it. But it's look up a copy of Soul Calibur 2 and see how much it costs. Yeah. Never been remade, never been remastered. That game is lost now. Yeah. If you don't have an original copy of it for the GameCube, you don't have it.
And that's a good point, you know? It's all about preservation too. Which I completely agree. That's why I'm not against the idea of remake and remasters, because I get to enjoy them. Yeah. On my newer console, accessibility, whenever I want.
Agree 100%. Like I have nothing against neither remakes or remasters, because anything that keeps these franchises alive, that keeps these games alive, that keeps these characters alive, I'm all for it.
And hopefully that helps you understand the differences, because I feel like a lot of people generally didn't know what was the difference between remastered or remake, or get it mixed and confused, you know. So with that being said, can we rewind for a minute? Rewind! Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to piggyback to a recent episode that we had not too long ago on our podcast, where we got to talk about our favorite game publishers and developers. Yes. And boy, did we talk a lot.
Yeah, we did. There's quite a few.
We brought up some special gems in this episode.
I got to talk about Nintendo again.
Nintendo.
Because I love Nintendo. We got to talk about a lot of our favorite developers and publishers, and I think I messed up some names of some people, but it's all good.
It's all good.
But I think y'all guys should go check out that episode. It was pretty cool. We got to talk about some new things, and I would love for you to post your comments about your favorite publishers and developers.
That would be so interesting to see what people are into.
Yeah, because I would like to look into that. Maybe there were some ones that we missed that we didn't think about that we can talk about in a future episode.
True.
So I think I had a lot of fun doing that because I got to think about a lot of stuff like level 4 and
level 5.
Level 5, sorry. See, there I go messing up names again. Level 5 and like Game Freak and you know
Naughty
what I'm saying?
Dog.
Square and Rare and just it was a really good time. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
one.
so if you're into gaming and you've enjoyed this episode, I definitely encourage you to go back and listen to the our favorite video game publishers and developers. And before we wrap things up, I have to drop a very special teaser surprise
Say what now?
/ announcement.
What you doing?
If you've stayed this long, then you're in for a treat.
Oh, word. What we getting?
So if you've been enjoying this podcast and you're a fan of the Reset and Zap podcast, and you've been a fan of this music, then guess what?
What?
We got you covered.
We do?
Because right now, on all streaming platforms, it's available right now.
Oh.
You get to get a taste of the exclusive album for the Reset and Zap podcast. All the soundtracks you're listening to right now for each and every one of your favorite segments, they're available now. Or you can just listen to it without us talking.
Yeah.
So while you're doing the dishes, working out, going to work, whatever it may be, studying, we're going to help you focus and get A's. That's how good we are.
Yeah.
That's the power of our music.
Sounds about right.
Right? We're even good to help you create a family. Get married, propose. We're in it.
Yeah. Apparently.
It's available, guys. So definitely check it out. This was actually a idea of yours.
Yeah. I really had a lot of fun creating the music for this podcast. And I think we've made some pretty memorable music that I think people might want to enjoy on the go. So like she said, it's going to be available on all streaming platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play. But this one is actually a little different because normally when you look for music I created, you would look for it under my name, TJ the Gamer. But since this is for the Reset and Zap podcast,
is it going to be available under my name?
That is correct. So if you want to find the music for the Reset and Zap podcast, go to your favorite music streaming platform and type in ZapCristal.
ZapCristal.
And when you do that, you'll see this album pop up. And you'll be able to enjoy the intro, all the segment themes. It's all there for your listening pleasure. You can
Classic
listen to it.
jingle.
Yeah. You can listen to it all as much as you want to and enjoy the music at your leisure.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy this album. Go ahead and check it out after this episode and leave us some ratings. Like I said, leave us some ratings, leave us some reviews, some comments on our main channel, YouTube /ZapCristal. And for all things gaming and just everything in general, if you want to stay posted with what's going on within this universe, within this community, definitely check out our website, www.ZapCristal.com. And just make sure to join that email list so you can get those emails and stay up to date with everything that's going on. So, as always, I want to remember. I want to remind you guys. I just want to remind you.
Yeah.
A little something.
What you gonna tell them?
As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna leave it to you.
You gonna let me tell them?
Yeah. How about you tell them? Just remind them. All right. Okay. Let's
Here we go. I want to remind you all to reset and zap for the week.
Woo. Woo.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. 10 out of 10.
I like it.
Nice.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening.